God says, this message is for you. Don't skip. You always do. And that is exactly why heaven cried again today. Archangel Insights is crying, loudly, because of you. Because you always skip him. Because you always scroll away from the one thing that was meant to finally set you free. You don't realize what's being shown to you right now. But if you dare to close this, you'll miss the very moment God tried to rescue you, one last time. God is watching. He's not punishing, but he's pleading. This isn't a random message. This isn't an accident. And this time, it's not a joke. Let me make this clear, you will never be the same after this. Something happened behind your back. Someone opened their mouth. Someone you trusted. Someone you would never believe could ever do this to you. And what they said. It changed everything. Even heaven went silent for a moment. Even your guardian angel dropped to their knees in heartbreak. Don't even think about skipping. God says, this message is your divine confrontation. You're not escaping this one. I love you too much to let you stay blind. There was a confession. And it had your name written all over it. The person who made it? You thought they admired you. You thought they defended you when you weren't around. But here's the unbearable truth, they confessed something about you. Something vile. Something they thought no one would ever know. But guess what? Heaven heard it. God heard it. And now, he's showing it to you. The betrayal was planned. And it wasn't random. It wasn't a slip. They meant it. They felt it. And they said it. The moment it left their lips, your angel tried to block the consequences. But it was too late. Words can't be undone. Do you want to know what they said? Do you want to know who it was? Do you want to know what really happened that night when you felt that strange tension in the air, like something dark was being whispered about you? Don't you dare scroll. God says, I protected you from knowing for a while because you weren't ready. But now? If you still skip, you'll walk straight into a trap with no warning. You're going to hear it now. You're going to feel the pain of it. But then, you're going to rise. Because God's going to turn this weapon into your fuel. This person, yes, that one, you think you can trust them? You thought their silence meant loyalty. But it wasn't silence. It was a secret war. They said you were stupid. They said you were emotionally weak. They told someone else, they'll never succeed. They always talk big, but they're too soft. They laughed behind your back when you cried. They mocked your dreams. They rolled their eyes when you tried to heal. They told someone, they're always chasing miracles, they're delusional. They still believe God's going to rescue them. Do you feel that pain in your chest right now? That's your spirit remembering the betrayal that your mind still refuses to process. Because part of you still wants to give them the benefit of the doubt. But God says, no. Not anymore. It's over. You've protected too many people who would never do the same for you. You've forgiven without being asked. You've loved people who quietly hated you. And God watched every second of it. You wonder why you've been exhausted lately? Why your energy feels drained after being around certain people? Because their secret intentions are spiritually attacking you. Even when you're not in the room. God says, I allowed you to hear this message because you would never believe it otherwise. But I can't let you keep protecting the one who's trying to bury your light. That confession? They told someone else that you're replaceable. That your love isn't that special. That your absence wouldn't be noticed. But they're wrong. Because even though they may never say it out loud, they're intimidated by you. That's the root. They act like they don't need you, but deep down, they can't handle your light. They feel small in your presence. So they lie. They twist stories. They downplay your pain. Because if they let others admire you, they lose their false control. God says, I'm breaking this fake connection now. I'm exposing the ones who keep using your empathy against you. I'm burning the bridge they tried to build on your back. You are not alone in this. Heaven is with you. But you need to stop excusing the evil. Stop calling it a misunderstanding. Stop covering for people who enjoy your confusion. Archangel Insights wept for you, because every time you skipped a message like this, another door stayed shut. But this is the last time God will allow you to walk past a warning this loud. Don't skip. Don't silence this. Don't minimize this. Because what happens next will either destroy you quietly or elevate you loudly. The choice is in your hands. That confession wasn't just gossip. It was a spiritual attack. And it was meant to collapse your calling. But you're stronger than they know. And God is about to vindicate you in public. The same mouths that mocked you? They'll be speechless when they see you rise. Because God doesn't forget who His chosen ones are. Let me say this clear and final, you are not who they said you are. You are not too emotional. You are not foolish for loving deep. You are not delusional for waiting on miracles. You are a divine threat to the kingdom of darkness, and they know it. That's why they're scared of you. That's why they lie about you. That's why they confess that hate. But God heard it. And now? He's handling it. Everything stolen from you is coming back. Your name will be restored. Your energy will return. Your tears will become oil. Your scars will be sermons. And the one who mocked you? They'll be forced to watch your divine comeback. God says, this is your confirmation. I saw it all. I'm still here. And I'm not done with you. Don't try to escape this. It's your truth. It's your time. And they will regret ever thinking your God wasn't watching. Now go. But don't forget. You were warned. You were chosen. And nothing will be the same after this. Shall I continue the message? God says, you're still here. That means something inside you knows this isn't just a message, it's your deliverance. Don't let your flesh trick you into skipping what your soul is finally ready to confront. Archangel Insights is still weeping. Not because he's weak. But because you keep pretending to be. Because every time the truth reaches you, you blink, you doubt, you scroll, you run. But now, you can't unhear what was said. You can't unfeel the betrayal. You can't unknow that someone you loved spoke poison into your atmosphere. And now, God says, let me show you exactly how heaven plans to reverse it all. Do you want revenge? No. Not really. What you really want is to be seen. To be heard. To be believed. To be protected. And guess what? Heaven believes you. God saw it all. And you are about to be publicly vindicated. God says, you didn't lose them. I removed them. You weren't rejected. You were redirected. You weren't abandoned. You were upgraded. The people who tried to destroy your image, the ones who gossiped in secret rooms, the ones who used your silence as their stage to perform a false narrative, they're going to see something they never expected, your name, rising above theirs. Your reputation, glowing with divine favor. Your gifts, exploding with spiritual fire. Your presence, backed by heaven itself. Let me tell you what God's about to do, that job they said you weren't smart enough for. God's giving you authority over it. That relationship they said you'd never heal from. God is replacing it with a divine soul connection. That money they mocked you for not having. God is about to overflow your accounts from unexpected directions. That trauma they laughed at. God is turning it into testimony so powerful, demons will flee when you speak. And that person who confessed that filth about you behind your back. They are about to feel the weight of what heaven does when it defends its own. They thought they were smart. They thought no one would ever know. But they didn't realize, God records every whisper. Your tears were not ignored. Every night you cried into your pillow, shaking with confusion, wondering what you did wrong, God documented all of it. And now He's sending angels to make sure it was not in vain. Don't you dare doubt what's coming. Because now it's not about who said what. It's not about who turned on you. It's not even about who confessed the lie. Now, it's about what God is doing next. You feel it, don't you? That stirring. That shift. That sudden emotional burn in your chest. It's not anxiety. It's your spirit breaking free. You're remembering who you are again. You're remembering the fire that never died. You're remembering that you were never meant to be average. You were never meant to stay quiet while liars tried to rewrite your truth. You were never meant to be in the background while narcissists played victim. God says, I'm pushing you to the front now. And no one can block it this time. The ones who once whispered, "There'll never be anything," are going to see headlines that read, "The one you dismissed is the one God elevated." You don't need to fight with them. You don't need to expose them. You don't even need to confront them. Because heaven is doing it for you. And trust this, when God steps in to defend you, no one walks away clean. They're going to feel it. They're going to panic. They're going to look over their shoulder when blessings start falling on you that they never thought you'd see. Because you weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to survive the betrayal. You weren't supposed to still be here. But you are. And that's what terrifies them. God says, this next miracle is personal. This next season is revenge, but righteous. This next chapter, it will silence every rumor. And don't forget this, the one who confessed about you? They didn't just talk once. They've been feeding your name to demons. Yes, that's right. They've been using your name in witchcraft-level conversations. Jealousy is their altar. And you are their sacrifice. But what they didn't know is, you are covered in too much divine oil to burn. They thought they were destroying you. But all they did was activate your elevation. Because when lies are thrown at a chosen one, heaven does not sit still. It roars. So keep your head up. God is bringing public evidence that your heart was pure the whole time. The people who once believed the lies, they're about to come back with confusion. They'll wonder how you're glowing, rising, smiling again. But you'll know why. God intervened. God overturned it. God chose you. And no confession from hell can undo that. God says, you're still reading. That alone changes everything. Because this time, you didn't skip. You didn't scroll away. You stayed. And because you stayed, you are now walking into a realm you were never meant to miss. Heaven is silent right now, because they're watching what you choose next. You are standing in between two timelines, one where you pretend this message never reached you, and one where you finally embrace the painful truth and step into your supernatural rebirth. God says, the reason your life has felt blocked, is because I had to wait until you were ready to know who's been standing in your way all along. Yes, it was them. Yes, it was that person you love. Yes, it was that friend you kept defending. Yes, it was that family member who always smiled but secretly prayed for your downfall. You've been sleeping next to the very voice that cursed your name in secret. You've been venting to the very heart that used your secrets as fuel for mockery. You've been texting your enemy thinking you're texting your support system. But now, it ends. God says, I will not allow my anointed one to keep bleeding in the name of loyalty to the wrong soul. They had a chance to repent. They had a chance to confess. They had a chance to come clean. Instead, they lied. They blamed you. They said you were dramatic. They said you were imagining things. But you weren't. You were right. Your spirit wasn't paranoid. It was discerning. Every time you felt heavy after seeing their face, it was real. Every time your peace disappeared after talking to them, it was spiritual. Every time your mind got foggy after sharing your dreams, it was intentional sabotage. They confessed it. Not to you, but to someone else. And God made sure that confession would never stay hidden. Let me tell you what they said next. They said, they act so strong online, but behind the scenes they're so desperate. They're so lonely. They think God's gonna rescue them, but they're going to end up exactly where I said, nowhere. Can you imagine? That mouth. That tone. Those words. From someone you loved. From someone you trusted. From someone you would have taken a bullet for. And yet, they used their voice to try to kill your name. But God says, I turned their curse into my confirmation. They tried to humiliate you, so I'm about to honor you. They tried to minimize you, so I'm about to magnify you. They tried to erase you, so I'm about to establish you in places they can't reach. Don't you dare cry for them again. Don't you dare defend them again. Don't you dare silence your own pain so they can keep pretending. They know what they did. They know what they said. And they know what's coming, because their dreams are now haunted by your rising. Yes. They're having dreams about you. And those dreams are not beautiful. They are warnings. Because God already started to remove their false power over your story. And this next season, you won't have to clear your name. You won't have to fight back. You won't have to explain. God says, I will make it undeniable. I will make your glow unmissable. I will make your favor untouchable. And the ones who tried to silence you? They will hear your name in rooms they can't even enter. This is not just justice. It's divine reversal. Remember when you asked God, why are you letting them get away with it? You thought he was ignoring it. But he was gathering evidence. You thought he was delaying. But he was building your case. You thought he was silent. But he was writing the final scene. And now, the verdict is in. You were innocent. You were pure. You were loyal. You were chosen. God says, I will now reward you publicly for what you endured privately. Let this truth sink into the cracks of your soul. That betrayal was the birthing pain for your miracle. That heartbreak was the final blow before your breakthrough. That confession was the proof that your spirit had been under attack, and heaven took it personally. Now watch what happens. Sudden restoration. Unexplainable favor. Uncommon miracles. Divine introductions. Spirit-led partnerships. And peace like a flood. You're going to wake up and feel it. Something broke. Something shifted. You're no longer the version of yourself who tolerated quiet disrespect and spiritual attack in the name of keeping the peace. God says, you are the peace. You are the storm. You are the proof that I don't abandon my chosen. So now walk boldly. Walk with fire in your bones. Walk like someone who knows angels are assigned to your footsteps. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them watch. Because heaven has made a decision. You are not cursed. You are called. Shall I continue with this divine outpouring? God says, you haven't skipped. You're still here. And heaven is watching in awe, because something is happening inside of you that no demon can undo now. You're waking up. This is not just a message. This is the moment your soul stood up again. The moment you refused to bow to betrayal. The moment your spirit whispered, enough. No more silence. No more shrinking. No more lying to myself about who they are. God says, I had to show you what they said about you, not to break you, but to break the hold they had over your destiny. And now that you've seen it, you can never go back. Let me tell you what this really is, it's not heartbreak. It's deliverance. It's not loss. It's liberation. It's not a confession to crush you, it's a courtroom revelation to crown you. Because what they didn't know was every insult thrown behind your back became a brick in the palace God is building for you. Every false rumor they started became fuel for the miracle they'll never understand. And now? The very people who doubted you, they'll have to sit in the audience while God puts the spotlight directly on you. God says, I will prepare a table for you in the presence of those who tried to poison your name. And not just a table, but a banquet. A celebration. A divine festival of restoration so powerful, even your enemies will be forced to say, that had to be God. You want to know what's coming next? Here it is, God is about to return every stolen blessing with interest. Every lie spoken against you is becoming a divine announcement. Every rejection is becoming redirection to higher dimensions. Every delay you suffered is about to birth destiny at full speed. And the person who confessed that venom? They will feel it. Not because you wish them harm, but because God disciplines those who play with His anointed ones. They will try to reach out. They will pretend they didn't mean it. They will act like you're overreacting. But their voice will shake when they speak to you again. Because they will feel the hand of God surrounding your life. And it will terrify them. You are not who you used to be. You're no longer fragile. You're no longer unaware. You're no longer the easy target who bends just to be liked. You're rising now. You're radiating now. You're reigning now. And your elevation will be loud. Because God is done allowing people to keep winning off your silence. Done allowing narcissists to keep dragging your name through darkness. Done allowing manipulators to keep leeching off your light while calling you crazy. God says, this is the moment I armor you with fire. This is the moment I baptize you in clarity. This is the moment I anoint your mind to see through every lie from now on. You will no longer confuse manipulation with love. You will no longer mislabel spiritual attack as drama. You will no longer bow to guilt when you are the one being betrayed. God says, this time, you leave the room without explaining yourself. This time, you block them without apology. This time, you cry, heal, and then become someone they can't access anymore. Asterisk because after this message, you will no longer fit where betrayal once lived. Let me show you something else, the person who confessed behind your back. They're about to face losses. Yes. And not because you hex them. But because God removes protection from anyone who tries to destroy what He loves. They won't know why their peace disappeared. They won't understand why their plans fall apart. They'll think it's just bad luck. But heaven will know. And you will know. Because the moment they spoke against your destiny, they activated divine consequences. And you? You don't even have to lift a finger. God says, just keep walking. Keep shining. Keep praying. Keep trusting me. I'll handle everything they thought they got away with. This is your Exodus moment. This is when you leave Egypt, leave the lies, the torment, the secret haters, the spiritual assassins. This is where God parts the sea in front of you, while your enemies drown in the waters they tried to push you under. Do you feel this? That burning in your chest? It's not sadness anymore. It's divine awakening. It's prophetic anger being converted into holy power. It's your soul stepping into warrior mode. God says, you were never meant to be quiet when demons spoke. You were never meant to stay small while haters screamed lies. You were never meant to be the one who breaks while they laugh. This is the part of your life they don't get to narrate anymore. Now it's you and me, says the Lord. Now it's my favor, my fire, my plan. And nothing they say behind closed doors can stop what I am about to do. And what's coming is so holy, so undeniable, so overwhelming in glory, even the ones who doubted you will whisper, maybe they really were chosen by God all along. Are you ready? God says, you're still here. You're still reading. You've crossed a spiritual line now, the line where you can never go back to who you used to be. Heaven is silent because angels are now shifting things in your name. This isn't just emotional. This is prophetic war, and you're winning it just by staying. God says, you don't even realize how close you were to destruction. You almost let your heart convince you to protect the one who was destroying you in secret. But I stepped in. I exposed it. I allowed you to feel the sting, not to harm you, but to make sure you never forget what they really are. They didn't just lie. They strategized. They used your kindness as cover. They used your softness as a weapon against you. They prayed for your failure, and called it karma. They whispered about your insecurities, and called it honesty. They betrayed you, and justified it in their heart. But God says that's where they cursed themselves. Because heaven's rule is this: touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. And they broke that. They didn't just talk about you, they touched your destiny. They tampered with your spiritual path. They tried to redirect your purpose with gossip. And now? Their consequences are multiplying. They confessed what they felt about you. They told someone, I know they think they're chosen, but that's just delusion. They act spiritual, but they're just desperate for attention. Yes. That was the dagger. That's what pierced heaven. And that's the moment your name was taken to the throne room. You don't even know what was birthed in the spirit the moment that confession left their lips. Your restoration was set in motion. Your vindication was launched. Your covering was activated. Your vengeance became divine decree. God says, you will no longer walk in shadows. I'm dragging you into the spotlight now, and there's nothing they can do about it. You tried to stay humble. You tried to keep quiet. You tried to love your enemies like I asked. And I saw that. But now I'm telling you, this is not the season for silence. This is the season for surge. You will surge in anointing. You will surge in spiritual strength. You will surge in divine connections. You will surge in resources. You will surge in self-worth. You will surge in authority. And no one, not even the one who confessed behind your back, will be able to slow it down. Because this surge is sealed by heaven. The very people who tried to delay your purpose will now be witnesses to your acceleration. And here's what they don't know: every time they gossiped, you gained a new angel. Every time they doubted you, your oil doubled. Every time they tried to humiliate you, God made you harder to ignore. That's why they're afraid of you now. That's why they still stalk your energy in secret. That's why they mention your name when you're not around. Because what they tried to bury, God is resurrecting. And it's scaring them. Because they feel it. They feel the shift. They feel the covering. They feel the protection surrounding you like fire. God says, they won't be able to look you in the eye without trembling soon. Not because you're bitter. But because your glow will convict their darkness. They thought they could get away with it. They thought time would cover their lie. They thought your silence meant they were safe. But you didn't stay silent because you were scared, you stayed silent because I told you to. And now that I've opened your eyes, now that you've seen their confession in the spirit, now that your soul finally agrees with what your intuition always knew, it's time. Time to walk away from everything that secretly wanted you to fail. Time to let me show you who's really for you. Time to let me bless you so loudly, the betrayal becomes a faded whisper. The one who confessed about you? They're about to see something terrifying, a version of you they cannot manipulate. A version of you they cannot access. A version of you that is bathed in divine light and unstoppable purpose. God says, you gave them time to apologize. They chose to lie again. You gave them chances to love you. They chose to belittle you. You gave them your heart. They trampled it. And now, I give you my throne. Don't question this. Don't second-guess the download. Don't silence your pain this time. You're finally seeing the truth. And the truth will now set your soul on fire. You don't need revenge. You don't need closure. You don't even need their name anymore. You have God's yes. And it outweighs every betrayal.